What's up? It's your man, Marv Glover.
And the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Green Ranger, Chiseled, Adonis.
And welcome to the Whole My Nuggets podcast here where we talk 50% sports, 50% real shit, 100% of the time. And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Welcome to episode number 14, the Halloween edition. You, my friend, you went out.
Did I really?
I'm concerned for several reasons.
Why
I feel like
would you be concerned?
This is a safety hazard in somebody's building. I don't know who, but there's no. Are you not? You're not hot?
Huh?
Are you hot?
Extreme.
Do you know what's funny about this?
Volcano is on my body right
You
now.
know what's hilarious about this? You're an animated individual, but I see nothing. All I see is the mouth. So I don't know. I just hear a voice.
You can't see my face, huh?
Nothing. This is
Let me
uncomfortable.
tell you this much.
Okay.
What I'm seeing right now,
Yeah.
it's nothing but fog.
Really?
Yes. It's nothing but fog.
Can you read the outline?
If there was a police officer next to me, we getting pulled over for hotboxing. It's not. This is not a good
Why?
look.
I'm gonna see. We'll see how far you in the podcast you can go.
How
to this thing.
far? I am ready to tap out right now. Tell Chris Benoit to stop the match.
And bro, you
it's
look
over.
insane. I mean, I respect it. You look, it's dope. But I didn't know he was gonna go. If I knew he was gonna go this hard, I was gonna come in like Batman or some shit. Yeah. Before I know what you are. Do you know what I am?
Nah, I just know my taijutsu elite.
Okay, all right. Well, there's that. Why the Green Ranger? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, it was the cheapest one.
Okay, balling on the budget.
Technically, I mean, it was just it was a different color. I didn't want to be the Black Ranger because that's kind of cliche.
As you talk,
I was going to be the White Ranger, but then I was just going to say white power. That'd be a problem. That'd turn out a little weird. I was going to be the Red Ranger, but I mean, who knows how that turned out?
Yeah, so we don't want that.
I don't want to be a moving period.
Yeah,
so who knows
that
what
is.
can transpire.
You could have been blue, but crap, we don't. You know what I'm saying?
There's
You gotta,
so many different gangs, and Nipsey got killed, so I don't want to be the Blue Ranger. Out here.
Right.
Somebody pull up.
I mean, but then again, Green isn't that like a Hispanic gang, like the Gringos? No, you don't think?
Gringos. I thought that was just a family.
Oh, okay, well, I don't know, but this is. I mean, I can't see what's going on at all. This is hilarious. I respect it.
Do
but
you?
I hope you don't pass out.
Are you a member of them boys? Like, what are you?
Oh yeah, take a guess. What do you think I am? What do you think?
What do I think you are? I think you're just a Southerner.
Oh no.
Oh, you're from the north. Are you one of those Southern people in the north?
Well, I got a 2-part costume, buddy.
You got a 2-part costume.
Yeah, so I'm 2 things at once.
I see it's a bad hat. I see that.
This is fantastic. I spent $15. Well, $16.33 plus tax.
That's why it's a bad
hat.
Well,
I look phenomenal. This is a great hat. It's
an egregious hat.
Howdy.
It's a bad hat.
Howdy. I'm fucking with it. I think this is a great.
You look like the type of person who puts like the weeds in your mouth, but you actually light them on fire. And you think it's doing.
You know what's crazy? I didn't have no weed because we live in the fake suburbs. I was just gonna come with a piece of uncooked spaghetti and then just rock that for the entire show.
That's first off. Yeah. It would eventually get wet.
Pause. But yes,
and more importantly. If you just bite into it,
I was just gonna let it sit in the side. I wasn't gonna bite it. You know what I'm saying? I was just gonna let it sit in the side.
But your mouth is going to open at one point.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I'll just let it sit in the side. But no, I'm not that. So you got to take
it wouldn't stick on the side.
No, I know what I'm capable of. But
you know what you're capable
of.
Pause,
not like that. Oh, wait, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have quite the revelation. Evidently, ladies, if you were curious of what that mouth do, men as well. Michael Sam challenge. If you wanted to know,
I didn't mean all that.
What that mouth do? This man,
I was just talking about.
Evidently has an answer.
No, why are you trying to perverse it?
Well, I had no clue.
All right, you getting?
I was unaware.
You were close in the beginning
of your oral prowess, sir.
I have no oral prowess.
I myself am not interested. But for people,
I love women
who were looking
where is
for
this
a coital partner.
This is a children's show.
Able to satisfy.
This is a children's show.
Their oral fixation.
You need Jesus.
Look no further.
I'm not that guy. I'm not a dentist. I have no oral nothing. I'm not. It's not my life. But
yet. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
What brand is your toothbrush? Is it Oral-B?
Why are you doing this?
Why? I was only aware of Cardi B. But evidently Marv Glover is a supporter of Oral-B.
I'm a supporter of Jesus Christ the Lord. That's what I'm a supporter of. But you were close in the beginning as to what you think I am. So it's really? Like I said, you said you said something about them boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're close. That's part 1 of the costume.
Well,
so
that's a very weird transition from talking about Oral-B to being a member of Dem Boys. Well, if you needed vindication, validation,
what is your issue?
We have just had the confirmation.
You're in costume. Aren't you supposed to be like,
brothers
in character?
Brothers and sisters, are you with me? In the case of Marv Brother, it's only brothers.
I just want to be treated fairly and with respect. Once on this podcast, you come for me so often. You know what I'm saying? You come,
oh my God.
not like that,
Wait
bro.
a minute.
No, not like.
Oh,
all right,
boy.
all right.
He wants to be treated with respect. Listen, we support all sexualities, all genders.
I'm straight, bro. What you mean?
We do.
We was just talking about hoes on the way over here.
Coming for you, sir. I am not interested.
Why? What is your issue? This is. I thought you was gonna become the Power Ranger. You was gonna get a different personality. We was gonna be gravy. And
but I am. Yeah. I'm just the Green Ranger.
No, you still a dick.
Whoa. Now I'm a.
No, not like that. Yo.
Oh my Lord.
What is your issue?
No.
All right.
Wow.
To answer
one day you just come as the Green Ranger, and evidently all your counterpart can see is nothing but the male appendage. What is going on?
To answer the question, what am I? I'm two things, right? So I'm technically a Dallas Cowboy because of that. I was really going to come with the whole football outfit thing, but I was like, nah, it's too easy. You understand what I'm saying? It's way too easy. So I just wore a cowboy hat with the little get up. Really what I did was I took my church clothes and threw a cowboy hat on, right? Saving money because I ain't got it. I just don't. That's it. But if I'm a Dallas Cowboy, right, then by default, I'm also what? Go ahead, say it with me now.
Mentally ill.
No.
What was that the incorrect answer?
It starts with an S, ends with an L.
It starts with an S and ends with an L.
Uh-huh.
Small.
Okay.
I mean, that is your height. You are about 5'2".
Okay. Well,
so
I'm 5'6".
You are small.
I'm 6'2" on a good day.
You
if
smell.
I'm a Dallas Cowboy, then I'm also a Super Bowl champion. Huh? That's what I am.
But champion doesn't L.
Listen,
with an
Super
L.
Bowl does though. That's all that matters. I'm a Super Bowl champion. 2-part costume. Dallas Cowboy, Super Bowl champion. One boom. That's my costume. I would have came with the Lombardi.
Still ends with
because I got it in the crib. But I was like, I know you haven't seen one of those in a very long time. So I just figured. I just figured, you know what I'm saying? I keep.
Okay. It was kind of hot in there. I had to reveal.
You got some sweat beads.
Oh, yeah, there is no question. I have revealed who I am.
We knew who the fuck you were.
Do not let Rita know.
Rita.
She's going to find me.
Rita? Who's Rita?
She's from the Power Rangers. You uncultured swine.
I knew who you were.
Now, the people know who I am now. I am Negro.
Well,
for the individuals who were expecting somebody else under the mask, you got the wrong
I was born in the darkness.
I am still the man, chocolatey man, on the left hand of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, why did you choose? Why'd you choose this? You could have been anything in the world,
and I wanted to be a winner.
That's a shame.
I wanted to be a winner. That's why I came as a Dallas Cowboy. What could you name me a better costume than this? Huh? A Super Bowl champion? That's me. That's what I am today.
But when did the Cowboys win one?
You're asking a lot of questions I don't.
It was actually before your birth. Like I was around when they won their last Super Bowl. You were not.
I know that.
You were not even a zygote.
Thank God you were alive to see greatness, right? And you're still alive.
Yeah, I did because I had an opportunity to see my Pittsburgh Steelers hoist the Lombardi twice and compete for one.
Right.
You know, on another occasion.
We competing right now, so we good. We good. Are y'all competing?
But it's literally halfway through the season. There's no playoffs yet.
Oh no. But we compete. We there. We right there.
Are you?
They already wrote our name on the Lombardi. I don't know if you know. They might as well give it to us.
Well, you might as well release yourself from whatever genjutsu you might be caught in. But I'll tell you somebody who they got written on a championship trophy.
Yeah.
It's a team in L.A.
Oh.
Now there's two teams who it could possibly be. I know Los Angeles is written on it. But we're going to talk about the other one. Absolutely not. Nobody talking about the Sparks. Who the hell wants to watch the WNBA? A lot of people. No. Let's talk about this, all right? Who really out here buying WNBA tickets?
I mean, if you like high school basketball.
I would go to a high school basketball game before I go to the WNBA game.
You being disrespectful, brother.
No, they got some athletes in there. But I'm not paying to see no layup line.
What you mean? I said they dunk, I think, in spirit, you know.
It's really about maybe two people who dunk.
It's Lisa Leslie. I think she's dunked before.
They had 5 minutes in a playoff game in which nobody scored, but they had open shots. All right? Do you understand? Uncontested field goal attempts that resulted in air balls and missed attempts.
That's hard work. That's dedication.
Nah, that is not that.
But you know what I'm saying? We still support them.
Huh?
Women power. Women empowerment.
Yeah, I support women. I don't know about the WNBA.
Well, we here. But listen, man, NBA season is here. Let's focus on NBA season's here. Basketball's back. Are you excited? It's back.
What is that?
That's the theme song.
Nah,
NBA on NBA. Yeah, it's back.
Yes, it is.
Are you excited?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
You're supposed to be very excited.
A little bit.
You know, I'm seeing. I have
a little
reason,
bit.
I'm gonna tell you why you should be excited a little bit later on in the show.
Oh yeah,
because your team.
Oh yeah, down a little caliente.
Yeah, we gonna get
like my body right now in this doggone suit. But what's going on in Los Angeles? Those Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
They may have lost on opening night, but
they did.
They have bounced back, and I don't believe they've lost since. Mm-hmm. And they taking care of business, sitting at 3-1.
They are.
And although nobody really cares for records at this point, I definitely do not. But I like the way they're working as a cohesive unit. They have got together. AD had scored 40 and had 20. Dwight Howard, I like the way that he's meshing with the team as well.
Yes.
And more importantly, I am a fan of these new look Lakers. I may be a Miami Heat fan, and I solely cheer for the Miami Heat. But for the way the Lakers are playing basketball, they're playing the way I assume they would play, and they still got two people who are not yet there yet. Right. So what are your thoughts on the Los Angeles Lakers?
I love what I'm seeing from the Lakers. First and foremost, props to Rob Pelinka. Just a year and change ago, this man's head was on a stick in Los Angeles. They were calling. It was a lot of drama between him and Magic and all this other stuff. And to see what he was able to do this offseason and the pieces he was able to bring in, albeit they weren't able to get their main target, right? Kawhi Leonard. But fact of the matter is they still were able to make some impressive offseason moves, and we've seen, the complete turnaround that's happened this season. You got to think about it, man. First and foremost, AD. My goodness, this guy, generational talent, superstar. This guy's a ball. Him and Braun on the pick and roll. I don't know anything that's more unstoppable than that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. This guy.
Oh, it's Halloween. So if you didn't know, there's Halloween candy that is here as well. Did you like the? Oh, no, you're fine. Okay.
So
I will be consuming this Halloween candy as we go. Engulfing.
The 6-pack didn't make itself. You know what I'm saying?
The 6 what?
The 6-pack. My 6-pack.
Oh, you're drinking beer.
You know what? The problem is with you, you're disrespectful. But we're not talking about what we are talking about is the Los Angeles Lakers.
They can see my 6-pack.
Well, they can see mine too. It's puffing through my shirt. Right
No, it's not.
Well, don't be disrespectful.
You got a gym membership?
I'm working on it.
Ah, well, there it is. There it is.
Yo, I love this Los Angeles team. The Braun to AD connection is real and alive and well. And it's beautiful to see how even though it's still extremely early in the season, to see how well that they're clicking between the two. It's absolutely sensational. But more so than that, what I'm really impressed in. You think about what the biggest problems that the Los Angeles Lakers faced last year was what? They needed 3-point shooting, and they needed to play better defense. When we look on the defensive side of the ball, I love the moves they made. On the perimeter, you have Avery Bradley. You get a Quinn Cook, right? There are quality players now that are going to give you quality minutes on not just the offensive side of the ball, but also on the defense, especially Avery Bradley, because he's a bulldog. He plays hard, right? Mm-hmm. You also get a Danny Green, who's also a 3-and-D guy, who I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I love that. Then on the front court, you get a Dwight Howard, who surprisingly has been pretty impressive thus far, right?
I'm not surprised at all.
You were able to retain a JaVale McGee in the offseason. A lot of people weren't sure if they were able to do that. You see how effective he's been. We all know he's a special shot blocker. And then, of course, you get an AD. What can't this man do? So I love what they've been able to do.
Stay healthy.
I'm going to get into that as well. So that's it. And what's so crazy to me is that we're still waiting on Rondo to come back.
Yep.
We're still waiting on Kuzma to come back.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how both those players gel into to what they have going so far. But I love it. For me, however, I think as the season progresses, I think the main X factor on the team, right, moving forward, is not going to be AD. For me, I think it's going to be Danny Green, because once again, 3-point shooting is so essential to being a successful NBA team, but more specifically a championship contender amongst all the other teams. You have to have it right now. So I think that Danny Green's number is going to get called a lot as the season progresses. Absolutely. You're going to look to him to be that guy. Because it's not that LeBron and AD can't knock down 3-point shots, right? But they're not marksmen. They're not snipers the way that Danny Green is. And we got flashes of that in the first game. I think he had like 28, something crazy. He was shooting like 70% from 3-point line.
Yep.
He looks sensational, right? So I think he's going to play a very big role. He's going to be a big X factor, especially because, like I said, he's a 3-and-D guy, so he does it on both ends of the floor. But ultimately, man, I love what I'm seeing.
I do too, but this is one of the reasons why I do agree with you with Danny Green being the X factor. But why he will flourish, I believe he can be top 3 in 3 points made, barring injury.
Okay.
Because when Rondo does come back, you have him and LeBron, who can both facilitate and space the floor.
Right.
Now, since that floor is going to be spaced and AD is going to warrant a double team,
right.
LeBron will also warrant a double team. Most times they're going to be in a situation where one will get double teamed and they'll probably end up leaving somebody where they're one-on-one, but not really, where the help is not too far,
right.
but not to where it's evident and you'll see that, it's actually a double team there. So Danny Green should get a lot of looks
right.
As well. I believe the opening game, KCP just played garbage.
Yeah, he's been playing garbage these past couple of games.
Yeah, he's just been on the floor collecting a check because he had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists,
nothing,
nothing. But play 25 minutes.
I don't get it.
You could have hired me.
You know, I thought he was going to take money. I thought he was going to take a step up from last year, but he still looks basura.
They should have included him in the trade to New
Sent
Orleans.
His ass away.
Yeah, they could have just sent over some gator meat. It would have been perfect. Like, just send some gator meat.
Give me a Happy Meal.
You know, in my commentary, I made fun of the New Orleans beignets, and I apologize for nothing that I said. They are overrated. You can have a Zapoli from a regular pizzeria around here. It would taste the same, if not better. Okay. But that gator meat down there, it is definitely worth it. Get you some New Orleans gator meat.
I'm gonna try
and you should trade it for KCP. It'd definitely make a good trade. But a lot of the questions regarding the Los Angeles Lakers would be, moving forward, do you play through LeBron or do you play through AD? I would still say play through LeBron.
Okay,
because LeBron's basketball acumen is there's no reason to try to question it.
Right.
When you play through him, you win games. The only thing is that it cannot come down to a situation in which the ball is not moving. You don't want to be, we're going to play through LeBron, but the style we're going to play through LeBron is that of a James Harden of I'm going to hold the ball for 20 seconds. So when Rondo is there on the court along with LeBron will naturally, I'm going to give the ball around and we're going to move.
Right.
Versus if it's AD and I'm going to back you down, you kind of take away from everybody else's game. So I'd say I'll play through LeBron because facilitating is what he does best and give him an opportunity to play at his best because it is LeBron's team.
I 110% agree with you, but for another reason that you didn't mention, right? I also believe that they should continue to play through LeBron. Now, granted, the big talk going into the season was that, okay, this is year 17 for LeBron James. He's getting older. Is he going to still be able to produce at this high level? All these other different things. Fact of the matter is, if I'm the team, I would put it through LeBron, not just because I still believe he's going to be able to produce at high level, but when you look at Anthony Davis, one thing we cannot ignore is his checkered injury history.
Absolutely,
it is scary.
Man's made of glass.
It's bitter man. Yeah, that's it. Brittle man. Excuse me. Yeah, that's it. It's bad. Going all the way back to like 2013, and it's not just one specific area of his body. It's all over. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Ankle, hips, groin, knee, and now the shoulder.
You did extensive research on his body.
Oh, what is your issue?
Hey,
focus.
Hey, no problem.
Quad.
I see you work.
Quad, and then now after his 40-20 game, you hear about the shoulder injury, which apparently has been going on for a little bit longer than expected because apparently he missed out on 2 media meetings or whatever. I'm assuming that he didn't want to talk about it or whatever. But now you hear something about his shoulder. So with a guy like AD, I don't think it would necessarily be smart to play through him, especially so early on in the season and then throughout the stretch, because I'm not sure if his body is going to be able to withstand all of that production. And on top of that, given what the Lakers have done this year, you don't necessarily, going back to your point of moving the ball around, you don't necessarily have to play directly through one person like an AD or LeBron, right? Given the pieces that they have around him, you don't need AD to do 40 and 20 or 25. You don't need him to put up monster numbers every single night. I'll call him 20 and 10.
Fair enough.
Right? We'll do the job. LeBron on the other side does 28, 8 and 7 a line like that. You'll be fine. But I think it's going to be extremely important for them to preserve him earlier on so that in the playoffs, when they're really going to need him, he's healthy, he's ready to go, and they're able to go full force with him.
I absolutely agree. I believe AD shouldn't be at his routine 27, 26 points. I think if he drops down to the 22, 23 and doesn't play an extensive amount of minutes, but gets to the point where he's giving you that between 20 and 23 and his body is rested, by the time you get to the playoffs, then you can get that 32 and 12. But I'll say this much, regardless of whether they play through AD or play through LeBron, how far do you think the team can go? Because I say conference finals is their floor.
Okay.
I believe it'll be them and the Clippers in the conference finals, and depending on injuries.
Right.
If both teams are healthy for a 7-game series, I believe the Lakers will pull it out.
I'm right there with you. Championship or bust?
Yes, absolutely.
This is the year it's championship or bust. Like I said, they have all the pieces. You have the two superstars in a LeBron James, in a AD. You have your three-point shooters. You have your defensive players. Everything is lined up, for them to go out and win this thing this year. Not just make it to the finals and win it all. I think that is really championship or bust with this team. I don't know if I'll go as far as this. I don't know if I'll go as far as to say I think they're the best team in the West. I think the Clippers still hold that notch, right?
Yes.
But right below.
From where we stand right now, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to see how this team plays against stiffer competition. We saw how they played against the Clippers, but I'll give him that just because I feel like LeBron kind of tried to play away from, what we would expect for him to do, and he's really extremely focused on getting 80 to the ball. So I want to see how they play again. I think they play again on Christmas, I believe. And then the past couple of games, I think they played the Grizzlies, the Hornets, and there was one other team. I think it was, I don't remember, but it was a lesser team. I want to see
Sacramento. Was it Sacramento?
I think it was Sacramento.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
But it wasn't any team to go home and talk about, right? So I want to see how this team. I want to see how Kuz and Rondo come back and fit into all the new additions, and also I want to see how they play together amongst stiffer competition and how things progress, barring injury, right, throughout the season. But I think, like I said, championship or bust.
Now I'll ask you this: Houston, we've got a new tandem over there. You got Westbrook
and
Harden.
Yeah.
So do you believe over there it is also championship or bust? Because I believe in this particular team that's here, the way the organization is moving, I believe it's championship or bust for them.
Right.
Now, do I think they're going to blow everything up? No. However, their intention is to make sure that the league, or I should say the West, knows it's not a Los Angeles race.
Right.
So they're trying their best to make it evident that they're trying to make it that far too. So I'll ask you this much. What are your thoughts on that tandem? And do you also agree that it's championship or bust?
I think that it's championship or bust because of the move that they made. But do I think the expectation is championship or bust.
Okay, fair enough.
Do I think that based on the move that they made that they can make it to the championship? No, I don't believe so. For me, I think that the addition of Russell Westbrook, trading him and everything that they did and switching out CP3, it was a flashy move, but a lateral move, right? Because now what you have is a James Harden, who is a ball-dominant guard, and you have a Russell Westbrook, who is also a ball-dominant guard. In a Mike D'Antoni system where we saw last year, it was basically just ice the ball. Give James the ball, get the fuck out the way. He's either going to be shooting from the free throw line, or he's going to dribble, pull up from three, or dribble, mid, or take it to rack, all those other different things. Now you have a Russell Westbrook that you add into the system. D'Antoni already said before the beginning of the season, well, we don't think that we have to change anything. You can win basketball games like this, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, based on what I've seen thus far up until the beginning, in the opening games of the season, granted, it's still extremely, extremely early. They're playing a lot of your turn basketball, right? James gets it. He does his thing and puts up as many points as he can. All right, Russ, here you go, your turn. And then now Russ comes down, dribble, doing his thing, trying to get the fouls, the shots, all these other different things. I think that those two are too talented. I'm not going to go as far as saying they're not going to make the playoffs. Of course, they're going to make the playoffs, right? They're going to. I think they'll be a 50+ win team. They'll do a lot of spectacular things this regular season. Probably break a couple records. Who knows? But then come playoff time, James Harden is going to subjugate himself to becoming what he always becomes. He's going to disappear because he's going to look to get foul calls in the playoffs that he got in the regular season, but he never gets in the postseason.
Absolutely.
And Russell Westbrook is going to turn into Russell Westbrick. So I think ultimately their ceiling is probably second round, and then they'll get knocked out from there.
Okay, I'll say this much. First and foremost, I absolutely agree with the way they're playing basketball right now. They're playing a lot of your turn basketball. And this team, it reminds me a whole lot of the 2011 Miami Heat. Why? Because both of these individuals, it doesn't seem as if they're orchestrating as a well-cohesive unit.
Right.
What they're doing, as we've already agreed on and came to a consensus, was your turn basketball.
Right.
Now, this can only go so far. I do believe for the regular season, they will play exceptional. I believe they'll be in a top 4 seed in the West.
Right.
But when it comes to the playoffs, they're probably going to get out around the second round, if not the first, depending on who they play defensively. I'll say this much. Harden will end up regretting not having CP3.
I agree.
If one of them do not come to the conclusion of, I'm going to take a step back.
Right.
Because there doesn't necessarily have to be that guy on the team who has to go and take that shot. You can orchestrate like a San Antonio where there's a multitude of people who can be there to close out games when Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Parker was there. Right. So you don't have to feel as if this is the guy, this is the face of the franchise. Just play your game. Right. I believe where they are right now, Russell will end up trying to do too much.
Right.
And given that his athleticism is his game, they have to have a conversation of James Harden, don't focus so much on the free throws.
Right.
Russell Westbrook, don't focus so much on trying to do too much.
Right.
Take a step back. You got a Capella that's there.
Yep.
You still got PJ Tucker's that's there. You both don't have to play hero basketball.
Right.
Just calm down, lower your motors, and you'll get eliminated in the second round. And I think
I agree with you, but once again, going back to my point about D'Antoni, that's more of a coaching thing than anything, right? And once again, he has come out and publicly said, we not changing shit. So because of that, if in order for them to play that way, it would have to be a system that he would have to incorporate where he would force one of them to step back. If I had to choose, I would say Russell Westbrook, because I think, James' shot selection and efficiency, I trust that far more than Russell Westbrook.
Absolutely.
It's just the truth. But for me, it's like I said, and on top of that, if you force one of them to step back, now what you're going to have to do is put in a system where you have more off-ball play, right? I'm not necessarily sure how comfortable Russell Westbrook's going to be with that, right? And then another thing that you have to consider, man, these are arguably two of the top 10 best players in the league. As the season progresses, egos will clash.
Oh, without question.
Especially Russell Westbrook.
Oh, yeah.
Heads will butt. I know they're dancing and dapping it up and with boys and stuff like that. I want to see if it's going to be that way come as the season progresses. You know what I'm saying? I'm really and truly interested in that. And another thing with me that I have a problem with the system that's in place, defensively,
it's just a switch game.
This team, listen, the game they just played against the Wizards, I think
139, 140.
No. It was more than that. It was
158.
I got you right now. Hold on. 158 from the Wizards on your head top. This is the Clippers.
John Wall was scoring, and he wasn't even on the floor. I saw Michael Jordan out there.
Right.
It was crazy.
Bro, listen
Eddie Curry. I don't know what was going on.
Like I said, in their mind, I think that the expectation...
Kwame Brown. I said Eddie Curry. I said Kwame Brown. Gilbert Arenas. The Gilbert Arenas is gone. A lot of things were scoring.
Listen,
a lot of things were scoring.
Because of the move that they made and the player in Russell Westbrook that they attracted, their mind and expectation is championship. But if your team is playing this poorly on the defensive side of the ball against a team that's this bad as the season progresses, I mean, my goodness, what's going to happen? And I'll say this much about the move as well. When you look across the league, it's all about following the trends, seeing what moves successful teams are making in order to get them over the hump, and whether it be championship success, playoff success, whatever the case may be. When you look across the league, all the championship caliber teams have one thing in common. Superstar forwards, superstar two-way forwards. With the Bucks, it's Giannis. The Clippers, you have a Paul George and a Kawhi Leonard. Lakers, LeBron. What other teams is there? It's Nets when he returns, KD. The list just goes on and on and on. So for me, I would have liked if this Rockets team, instead of going to get a Russell Westbrook, went out and possibly pursued a Paul George, if they go somebody that would have been able to help this team and really get things over the hump. But like I said, I think that this is a very flashy but lateral move. I don't see much success for this team, and it is what it is, man.
Now, I would say, are they feeling much more confident that their nemesis, the Golden State Warriors, which has eliminated them 4 out of the last 5 years, and we see the Warriors are wounded.
Oh, no, this is beyond wounded. This is bad.
Yeah, it's about time you turn on the love music. But instead of listening to the music, you just look at the titles and take the L out of love. It's over, brother, because it's clipped. It's clipped. Turn on the Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Start spelling letters wrong. In comes the paperclip. And that is the season, because the hand of Steph Curry, or I should say, the left hand.
The left hand.
He's turned into Orochimaru. What happened to my hand? To my hand. Because it's broken. He can't finger Aish. It's going down.
Wow.
It's bad.
Why are you getting in this bedroom like that?
And now he's hurt. He uses his right hand. He's hurt.
He can.
There's no Clay.
Right.
He's not coming back for the season, confirmed by Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr obviously can't play. Livingston's retired. KD is on first take. And nobody knows.
Sunset KD's
what's going to be transpiring with the Warriors moving forward. Right. It is just Draymond and D'Lo. And it's nothing's on the low but L's.
Yep.
That's it.
It's hard.
It's over for.
It's a hard night.
Take the L out of it. It's over, brother. What the hell is wrong with the Golden State Warriors?
They lost everything. Absolutely everything.
You know, when they came on the floor, I saw Thanos was out there. They said, well, what did it cost going to 5 straight NBA finals? And he said, everything.
Just snapped his fingers.
It was.
Everybody disappeared.
Absolutely.
You mentioned some interesting names. Let's go down the list. Clay is hurt. Right? Clay Thompson's hurt. He's apparently out for the season with an ACL. Now, the talk was that, well, if they make it to the playoffs, maybe he'll be able to come back sometime in March. They're not making no motherfucking playoffs. We're gonna address that a little bit later. Clay gone. Torn ACL. He's out. KD left. He's in Brooklyn chilling with his leg up. He's on First Take, living life lovely, sipping macchiatos, living his best life. Sean Livingston retired. DeMarcus Cousins, another name that we didn't mention. Even though he was out majority of the season with the quad or whatever, and he did have his mishaps in the postseason, still an effective piece. Would definitely be helping him now.
Absolutely.
He's gone. He's chilling. No, is he a free agent?
Nah, he's not chilling. He's still getting paid from the Lakers. I believe he's still getting paid.
Oh, yeah, no, he's injured. I'm bugging.
My leg.
Didn't he tear his ACL?
Yes, he did.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, he
can't
did.
catch a break.
And now that I'm thinking about, I should have been Majin Buu. All this candy that I'm having over here.
Hilarious.
Boo make you dead. I should have been Boo.
I like the Green Ranger, though.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Continue with your soliloquy.
Quinn Cook, another guy who was coming off the bench, was giving him quality minutes.
Yes,
that
he
he's
was.
going to now give to the Los Angeles
He's
Lakers.
Cooking in the Lakers.
On both sides of the ball. He's gone, right? Looney is hurt. I don't know.
Hurt. Yes, Kevon Looney is hurt.
Now Steph Curry with a broken hand. But there is one name that I think is one of the more important names that a lot of people are talking about in terms of who's not on the team anymore.
Andre Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala, I think for me, he was one of the more unsung heroes, unsung leaders, and unspoken leaders on the team. You understand what I'm saying? I think that too is, in a weird way, some if not all the players kind of rallied around it. Because he was the vet guy. We saw what he was able to do in that finals where he won the MVP, and when he was coming off the bench, and then Steve Kerr made the move to start him or whatever the case may be. Granted, yes, he was getting older, but fact of the matter, the guy still was a veteran leader who would have gave you something.
Yeah.
Especially on the defensive side, even offensively, even if he was that good, defensively, the man was still he had some athleticism. He would have gave you something, but you let him go, right? So now you're looking at this Golden State Warriors team, and it's just bad, man. I feel sorry. I think everybody on the team except for Draymond and Steph is like 23 or younger.
They said they may be one of the younger team, if not the youngest team in the league.
Bro.
23 or younger. So I'll ask you this much. Because initially I believe that Golden State would be able to squirt their way to an 8th seed and Steph Curry can mess around and win his 3rd MVP. Right. But now with what happened to my hand? Do you think they're going to the playoffs? Because I say absolutely not.
Right. It's not happening. I think that this is I don't even want to call it a rebuild year because the main pieces are still there. They're just hurt. And I really feel bad for Draymond because he's super duper competitive and
absolutely
he loves this team and he wants to go out there and compete. And you hear reporters coming out and talks about tanking and all stuff. Damn well Draymond, if there's anybody, Draymond ain't doing he ain't with but at the same time, part of me would really like, and you look at this team, man, you can't ignore the fact that they went to 5 straight NBA finals. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like all those games, all those minutes, all that wear and tear that they were putting on their bodies, even when they got KD. Granted, of course, it made it a lot easier for them to get there. 82 games a season, the postseason, another, 16? I don't even know how many.
Yeah.
And year after year after year after year, I think that this is the year for them. Clay and Steph, of course. And then, Draymond's going to go out there and do whatever to really just get a chance to sit back, take a breather, and then come back the following year stronger than ever. I don't know how long. I don't know what the estimated weight recovery thing is on a broken hand. Is it months? What was it?
I would assume it's
at least
it has to at least be a month.
Right?
Yeah.
Something like that. I tried to Google it. I wasn't.
Luckily, it's his offhand. So
right. So that's also very, very good. But this it's over. They're not making the playoffs. I think for them, This season is just going to be about Steph. I don't think that they're going to hopefully more towards like the middle, latter half of the season, they try into Draymond. I don't think he's going to be having it. Like I said, he's a competitor.
Absolutely.
He loves to play. He goes hard for this team. So I think he's going to want to play each and every single 82, every single one of the 82 games. But man, this is sad, man.
Now, I'll say this much. Regarding that team, I don't think this is a situation in which you can bring out Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H in the Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't say this is the end of an era,
right.
Because next year they will be healthy,
right.
hopefully. But I'll say for this particular season, it's over. But for Steve Kerr, and not necessarily Draymond, because people who know basketball know his worth.
Right.
But for Steve Kerr, he has got to come out and coach to show that he wasn't just out there coasting on people's, I'm with this person so I can win. Because Popovich has been able to show his worth.
Most definitely.
Yes, you had Tim Duncan. Yes, you had Ginobili. Yes, you had Parker. Right. Yes, you had Kawhi. You still went out there and got wins without him.
Right.
But without anybody. And you saw, okay, this is the reason why. Steve Kerr, regardless of when he was off the floor and Luke Walton was there, they had a better record without him that season than they did with him.
True.
So Steve Kerr's got to prove his worth, find a way to galvanize this team behind Draymond, behind D'Lo, and keep them contending moving forward. But I would say this, their dynasty is not yet over yet, because next year they will be back. But for this season, it's clipped.
And to add on to your point about Steve Kerr, for me, like I said, I think it's a foregone, everybody and their grandmother knows it's a foregone conclusion. This team is not making the playoffs. But when you talk about Steve Kerr showing his worth and coaching his behind off, right? Because of how talented that the West is, and I hear your point about Greg Popovich, but once again, son is coaching puppies, essentially, right? So you don't really necessarily expect them to go out there and ball out and win a decent amount. Who knows how many games they're going to win this year? But it's the little things that are really going to show me what kind of hold, what kind of man that Steve Kerr is as a coach, and if he's going to really be able to get behind, especially this young group of players, and really push them to go out there and play their tails off every single night. Because when you look at even when Steph was on the court, another problem that we haven't even addressed defensively. What the fuck? Bro, first quarter against the Suns just the other night, they was down like 20, 30 something.
43 to like 14.
In the first quarter? Shit me. And then the night before, what was the game before that they played? I think it was against was it Timberwolves? No,
it was somebody.
I don't know, but
I think it was the Timberwolves.
I don't know who. But I mean, I looked at the score, I was like, no, this is Photoshop. There's no way that this is, you understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, listen, defense, you can teach somebody how to shoot a basketball. You show someone how to Euro. You don't teach defense. That's in you.
They build a house and that's it. There's no fence around anyway. They couldn't do anything. They were just getting penetrated left and right. It was an orgy when it came to the team coming down the floor. It was bad.
I didn't go that far.
They couldn't stop anybody. You played Yu-Gi-Oh with the Golden State Warriors. Guess what? There is no stop defense.
Not at all.
It don't exist.
At all. No. It was absolutely bad. So for me, it's like like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, and just overall.
Pardon me. Stop attack. There's no stop attack. Okay, if you stop defense, then yeah. But there's no stop. You just keep attacking. They're wide open.
Right. It's hard to watch. So going throughout the season, I need to see that. I need to see young players that want to go out there and compete every time. Especially now, they're in the new. I mean, Golden State Warrior fans, you got to be new arena, right? They're in what, San Fran? No, not in San Fran. They're in
Santa Clara, I think.
I don't know where the fuck
I can't remember.
New arena, right? And this is the opening that you get. The shit got to be rough. I mean, my goodness. But I need to see players that are going to go out there and compete. I'm very happy that Draymond is still on the floor, because him being the emotional leader of the team, you damn sure he's gonna hold people accountable.
Oh, absolutely.
He's still walking to practice every day like, we gonna do this.
Absolutely.
Thing. You know, that's the kind of guy that he is. So it's really in Steve Kerr's hands now to really, make his mark and show people, no, I'm an elite head coach in this league. It wasn't Steph, it wasn't Clay, it was me. I know what I'm doing. As for their dynasty, I agree, it's not over. The pieces are still there. They're just hurt. Clay with the ACL, now Steph with the broken hand. I think next season, once everybody is fully healthy, barring that, Draymond doesn't get injured, whatever, they do whatever they do in this offseason. There are talks that they're not going to look to keep D'Lo, which I told you when they made the move, I didn't get it because it looked like they were going to transition to small ball, which is weird, whatever. Apparently going to try and move him to gain an asset or something like that, which would be helpful because they need all the pieces that they can get. The dynasty is not over. What happens next season? Once everybody's healthy, we'll let me know. Dynasty over or not.
I'll ask you this much: do you think they're real? Well, not necessarily asking because it's a far-gone conclusion.
Right.
Who they're gonna miss is that man who went over there to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But speaking of Brooklyn,
Yeah.
what do you think thus far? Because I kind of like, but I also dislike. I'm very on both sides of the Brooklyn Nets right now because the first game, it went all the way down to the wire.
Right.
Kyrie scored 50, but they lost. He missed the game winner.
Right.
The second game, once again, down to a wire, and somebody else hit a game winner. If I cannot recall who it was that did it. But
Jay Crowder, I think. The first game,
no. Jay Crowder hit the game winner against.
Okay, so the first game So the first game they played, Kyrie tried to
he missed. The second game, he hit the go-ahead.
Knicks against R.J. Barrett.
Yes, absolutely.
Third game, Grizzlies, John Morant to pass off to Jay Crowder.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly. So each game has gone down to the wire.
Right.
That, although it's early, it concerns me.
Yes, it does.
Because you're in a situation in which every game can literally go either way.
Right.
So you're not too sure what you are, which identity-wise. Right. So Kyrie Irving's going to go and do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
The people around him just got to go out and be consistent.
Right.
So for this particular team, I have no real opinion thus yet. It's kind of early. I'm on edge.
Right.
That's how I feel thus far. But as for Kyrie's performance, absolutely love it. There's some stuff in the media talking about he's got mood swings left and right. He's human.
Right.
He wants to win.
Right.
This is who he is.
Right.
So, but as for that team right now, I need to see a little bit more.
I'm 110% with you. Like, love, or hate it, I don't know. I mean, going into the season, we knew KD, of course, wasn't going to play. He's healing from the Achilles. And for the most part, we all could kind of assume what we knew to expect from this team because Kyrie Irving is on the team. I think that this is a team that can and will make the playoffs, maybe as like a 6 or 7 seed, something along those lines, maybe a little bit higher. Who knows, right? I don't think they're going to be 8 seed. I think that would be a bit much, but 6, 7 seed, maybe a 5th. Who knows? As the season progresses, we'll see. But for the most part, you knew this, but you knew that this was going to be a team that was going to show you flashes of what could be, but you're not going to really know what they're fully capable of until they have their full arsenal, i.e. a KD returns. But in terms of what I've seen this far, I mean, Joe Harris I like Joe Harris. He's the shooter of the team. We know that. Karis LeVert, young player on the rise. We know the season before when D'Lo was there when he got that catastrophic injury.
Yeah,
now he's back, so we got to give him a little bit of time. He's still young. He's still learning the game. Give him a chance to learn and progress, things of that nature. Spencer Dinwiddie, another unsung hero. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. But right now the team runs through Kyrie, right? But at the same time, going all the way back to what he showed us when he was on the Boston Celtics. I think the situation that this is a little bit different, but it's more or less of we're seeing right now is what we were already saying when he was on the Celtics, in that we're not doubting Kyrie's ability as a player. The man's a superstar, but when you think about, once again, going back to my point earlier, what you need, the makeup of what's important for a team to be a real contender, Kyrie's like a superstar 1A. It's where it's like, if he's the best player on your team, playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Championship, you know what I'm saying? So for right now, they're gonna win. They're gonna win a couple of games. They're gonna get to the playoffs, but it'll be most likely one of those situations where they get knocked out in the first round, like game 6 or 7. So
this will be his biggest test to have to be a leader on a team where there is no focal leader.
Right.
Even when he was on the Celtics, although he wasn't that leader, that team didn't necessarily not have one because you had a veteran captain in an Al Horford.
Right.
Brad Stevens, although he's not that kind of coach where we're going to rally around Brad. Right. That's not really something that happens.
Right.
But he had the team in certain sort of rotations to where you could already believe in your coach because you saw them go to the conference finals and push 7 without Kyrie.
Right.
So now he's in a situation where he is that guy.
He's the guy.
So he's got to step in and assume that role. But I'll say this much regarding Kyrie, his individual performances, magnificent masterclass basketball, and I'll tell you something right now, I think he'll end top 3 in MVP voting if it keeps going this way. I don't see him winning the MVP, depending on where Brooklyn finishes, because if they somehow find their way in number 1 in the East, I say he'll win the MVP. I'm still rolling with LeBron to go and win it because of what's going to transpire and him being LeBron.
Right.
But I think Kyrie is going to be quite the MVP performance this year.
Yo, without question. Let me tell you something about Kyrie, man. Listen, once again, the man is a superstar. I mean, when you look at his game, he can do it all, right?
Absolutely.
The mid-range is there. The three ball is there. Under the rim, one of the best finishers in the league right now. He's a magician. The handle, we don't even need to talk about that. The man's a monster, a magician, a virtuoso. It's absolutely sensational what he's capable to do when he steps on that court. And we saw that in game one, and we've seen it his entire career. Let's just call it what it is. So when you talk about MVP candidacy, he's definitely going to be up there. I don't think he'll win. Right, I think that you can argue that some people are saying LeBron, some people are saying Kawhi. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some people lean more towards Kawhi because he still has yet to get a regular season MVP. This could be the year to do it. That's a conversation for another time. But Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's in a prime, especially since KD's not there this season. He's in a prime situation because of who he is, because of what everybody knows him to be, and because of the players that he has around him. He can literally go on the court every single night, look everybody in the face and say, give me the ball.
Absolutely.
Get the fuck out the way and watch me work. And he's going to, if he wanted to, he can literally go out there and get 30 a night if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
It's really one of those kind of situations. So he'll definitely be in top 3 MVP candidacy. Will he win? I don't know. But I got to ask you this now. We see what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets. Like I said, we know a KD is out. He is the guy. Once he does return, praying that, given the kind of game that he has and stuff and all that nature, that he's able to come back.
And hope that Achilles holds.
Yeah, most definitely. But he's out for the season. We're going to see what we're going to see this season. But next season, once he does return and he's 100%, how far do you think that this team can go?
Championship or bust, and I believe they can contend. Although Philly, they're going to be a team that will be a force to be reckoned with for some number of years. Because KD is there, him alone in the East can carry you to about a game 5 or game 6 in the second round of the East semifinals by default.
Right.
Now, seeing teams like Boston, seeing teams like Toronto, seeing teams like Miami, seeing other teams that just they float. You never know where they'll be. Every other team is beatable. The only powerhouse is Philly right now. So I think when KD comes back, it's conference finals is their floor, and then the NBA finals is the ultimate goal. So I think there'll be a team that can contend in the finals as long as those two stay healthy, and KD comes back the exact same player. Perfectly fine.
I'm 110% with you, but I'm going to put an asterisk next to it. I'm with you, but it depends on how he looks when he comes back.
Absolutely.
Listen, we're not talking about an ACL. We're not talking about a broken ankle. This is an Achilles injury, an injury that has a very long history of altering. I'll go as far as to even say ruining some athlete's career beyond just basketball. It's lethal, right? I think KD is going to be the ultimate test of just how serious this injury can be because he's a very unique situation in a lot of ways. First of all, right, the kind of game that he plays. Right, this isn't a LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard type where he's looking to pound his way to the basket. He's a finesse guy, right? He's a pull up, bang. He's not looking to get the crazy dunk over anybody. He's not one of the athletic types. He's a very skilled. He's a skilled guy who's not looking to get physical. So given that he has a finesse kind of game, right, it's not going to be too much pressure on his Achilles, and he's not going to have to rely on his athleticism to come back and beat KD because that's not what we think of him. We think of him skill wise, right? Come pull up, give you 30, go home, take a nap, come back the next day and do it again. So that's one. Two. His frame, also another big thing in it. He's not a heavy set dude, even though he's taller, which can have a negative effect on, what the return is. He's a skinnier framed guy. There's not a lot of weight. Once again, he's not doing a lot of jumping from dunks and stuff like that, like a Zion or whatever the case may be. Finesse, skill guy who's looking to just shoot it, right? So I think that personally, if he doesn't come out, it would be hard for me to see him come back and not be at least 80 to 85% of what he was before the injury, but I think he's going to be fine. And if he is fine, I'm with you. It's championship or bust because once again, going back to it, championship contending teams need what? The two-way forward, superstar forward. KD is just that. And a lot of people talk about his offensive side of the ball, but defensively, I mean, the man has like a 7'6" wingspan or whatever the case may be. On both sides, he does it on both sides of the ball. So I'm very excited to see him come back.
I'll tell you what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
My Miami Heat, because we got some ballers. We got some walking buckets. Walking buckets.
Indeed we do.
Because we got Tyler Hero. We got Justice Winslow. Jimmy Buckets is back too. I don't know where he was at the first two games, but he back now. And my Miami Heat I'd say they are the number one sleeper team in the league.
Okay.
All right, that's no bias. It is bias, but you got to know they coming.
Right.
You better watch out for them boys in Miami. But I had to ask you this. What would you say are the top 5 sleeper teams in the NBA?
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to go from 5 to 1.
Okay.
I'm going to go from 5 to 1. We're going to start up with number 5. I'm going with the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, let me explain why. I'm excited, like everyone else is, to see what can be in New Orleans once Zion returns from, was it torn meniscus, right?
Yeah, was it torn?
Torn?
Shoot,
no, I think it was torn. No.
Well, there it is.
It was torn. It was torn. So I think he's out for like 6 to 8 to 10 weeks, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's like 6 to 8.
I'm excited to see him come back and to see what this young group can produce on the court. Because of how deep the West is, it's really, really hard for me to see that they make the playoffs. We'll see. I don't know. Like I said, it's just a matter of how things come together. But I like the group of players that's on this team right now. You got Alonzo Ball. You have a Josh Hart. You have a Brandon Ingram. All came from the Lakers. Now playing with, dare I say, a chip on their shoulder because they're young players who thought that they were going to have their future. And especially Alonzo. You had Magic Johnson over here putting your jersey. Well, talking about jersey and the Raptors and all this stuff. You get moved to a New Orleans, new beginnings, all these other different things. I like the pieces that they have together. The front office, a David Griffin, a man who's very well respected in the NBA. He's done a very great job. A good head coach in an Alvin Gentry who's going to groom these young players and find different ways to get them to all work together. Seeing how Zion is going to fit into that mix has me extremely excited. And I think it's going to be one of the more fun teams to watch once they do figure it out.
Okay.
What about you?
Right. I would say the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. Got you.
Because Luka is playing. Him and Trae Young coming out of that draft class. I was not expecting what they did. Those two guys look like they could be the carriers of the very next generation because those guys can ball. But since we talking about Dallas right now and KP6 being back and playing this brand of basketball that he's playing, those two alone, those foreigners can get it done.
Most definitely.
You know, and because of that, I think they're able to at least sneak their way into that AFC because given the injuries that's going on in New Orleans, because initially I was going to go roll with New Orleans, but because there's so many guys there that you're uncertain about their health. Because Zion,
Lonzo's
a ton
another
of
one.
those knee issues.
Lonzo's
Zion, Lonzo, his health as well. And then Brandon Ingram, who knows what'll transpire with those clotting sort of situations. So I because of the injuries, there's a question mark there. So I just pencil in those Dallas Mavs, man, because they can ball.
You mentioned another name that just so happens to be a player on my number 4 on my list. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Let me tell you something about this Atlanta Hawks team, man. I dare I say, I love the pieces that they had. Let me tell you something. Trae Young is a walking bucket.
Absolutely.
I mean, this man is a baller. It's unfortunate to see that he had the ankle injury. Thank God it wasn't anything too serious. Apparently he'll be back in 2 weeks. Looking forward to that. But I love the young talent that they have put together on this team. And for me, as we see the progression of this team moving forward throughout the season, I'm looking at 2 players in particular. I'm looking at DeAndre Hunter, but more specifically than that, I'm looking at a Cam Reddish. Why? Because coming out of college, there were some questions about Cam Reddish's ability, his work ethic, and his consistency as a shooter. A lot of people, when they looked at, his intangibles and the physical, build-up and what he could be, there were some comparisons, and there was some talk about him being KD-esque. I don't know about all that. But like I said, I'm very interested to see with him in the mix of all these players, how he progresses and he matures into his role on this team. DeAndre Hunter, another one coming out of Virginia, how he progresses. And just in general, they got a lot of young, athletic, talented players on this team. I'm very, very excited to see what this team can do throughout the season.
I'm excited for them too. I am excited for them too. I would have them at 4.
Okay.
But I got them at 3.
Okay.
For the same reasons.
Got
for
you.
4, you know who I got?
Who you got?
That team that's probably going to be overlooked.
You mean 3 because you just said
no, because I yeah. So because I have the Hawks at 3.
Gotcha.
For the same reasons.
Okay,
but at 4, who I have slightly below them, those Denver Nuggets. I think people are going to overlook because they'll look at last year like, all right, them Denver Nuggets, they did what they did, but now that LeBron is healthy, you got they got a brand new looking Clippers sort of team, and you still got Houston with the Westbrook and thing duo. People are going to overlook those Denver Nuggets, and damn it, Jokic and Murray, those 2 guys can be dangerous, and they will be dangerous.
Right.
I love the way they play basketball. Jokic is the best center in the league. I don't care what Embiid is doing.
Walking triple-double.
Jokic is he's an
Walking
absolute
triple-double,
beast. And I think Murray is going to – he started to come into his own last year. I think this will be his best season to date, and simply because of the two of those guys. And on top of that, they play magnificent when they're at home.
Right.
So all they got to do is get to that 3 seed, and they can carry that to possibly if they can even make it to the conference finals. But damn it, I believe in that Denver Nuggets team. They're my number 4 sleeper team.
Boom. My number 3, because I'm going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My number 3 is your guys, the Miami Heat. Let me tell you something about this Miami Heat group. I love what this Miami Heat group looks like. Let me go down the list. First of all, your guy, Tyler Hero, and we talked about this behind the scenes. He might, if not Kendrick Nunn, and I'm going to get to him later, he might just run away with Rookie of the Year. That dude right there, I don't know if it's sacrilegious to say, but I'm going to just fuck around and say it. When I look at his game and the way that he plays and his shooting ability, he's Klay Thompson-esque in that he doesn't have to do a lot to get his shot, but when he does get his shot and he gets hot, and he's this early, it's only going to get, what are you doing?
This is me walking with a bucket, because that's him. He's a walking bucket.
He's a walking bucket, and he does the bare minimum to get his shot, and once his shot gets going, the man gets hotter than I don't even know it. So I like the way that he plays. He's very Klay Thompson-esque. Then you have a Kendrick Nunn out of nowhere, undrafted rookie, baller. Listen, baller. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then outside it, I mean, Nunn is averaging 21 on the season.
Yeah.
It's still very early, of course, but absolutely ridiculous. And then last but certainly not least, Jimmy Buckets. JB. Let me tell you something about Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler is literally the guy. He showed you that on the Sixers. You can walk up to him. Game on the line. You need the shot. It doesn't matter if it's from 3, layup, pull up, whatever. Give him the ball and say, take us home. And he'll do. This guy, how can you not? And he's also the emotional leader of the
Absolutely.
team as well. I love this Miami Heat group. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say it from now. If depending on how things progress, it's still very early. If they sneak their way and get into the playoffs and they make a run.
Oh yeah.
Bruh.
They give me a remnant of 2006. But I'll close that out because I can tell you right now they're my number 1 sleeper team. But let me go to number 3.
Right.
It's the Atlanta Hawks. The same sort of reasons that you had as well. So no need to reiterate, reverberate, regurgitate the same said sentiments. So I have the Atlanta Hawks at my number 3. Who is your number 2?
My number 2 is the team that you said earlier on, the Dallas Mavericks. Let me tell you something about Luka Doncic. It's safe to say right now, Luka Doncic is a top 10 player in the league. I'm going to go out and say it. I think he's a top 10. Because for me, it's like, what can't he do? His game is damn near flawless. It's absolutely, he's one of the few players in the league that makes playing at that level look easy. And he's been doing it from his rookie year. He's only going to get better barring injury. The man is absolutely sensational. You pair him up with a KP, that pick and roll, Jesus, oh my goodness. It's going to be absolutely crazy. You have a great front office, right? You have a great head coach in a Rick Carlisle, who we don't talk about enough because it's been a while since the Mavericks have been relevant. But I believe that with a KP and a Luka Doncic, listen, the sky is the limit for you talk about 2 young, talented players that are only going to get better. Watch out.
All right.
Watch out. That's my number 2, man. What about you?
What my number 2 is?
Go ahead.
Them boys in San Antonio. Because I think people are going to continually overlook how good of a damn coach that Greg Popovich is. Because more importantly, not only do you still have DeMar DeRozan, who's still there, not only do you still have LaMarcus Aldridge, who is there as well, but DeJounte Murray's back.
Yes, he is.
He is back. He's healthy. And because he's healthy, he's one of the better two-way guards in the league. In my opinion, I believe he can be he's one of those contenders for the most improved player or maybe even comeback player of the year. I think he could go out there and give them at least an 18 points per game and really get things going. And I believe LaMarcus Aldridge will probably have one of his better seasons to date. DeMar DeRozan will continue to coast that way. He's at about a 25 points per game. And on top of that, defensively, they are a better team, and Popovich will not settle for a first-round exit. I believe they're going to be better. For those particular reasons, I got them at my number 2.
Beautiful. Listen, at my number 1, you mentioned a name. What was the name? DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, right? Easily. Number one, I'm going with the Toronto Raptors because he used to play there. I'm going with the Toronto Raptors. I think that right now they're playing with a chip on their shoulder.
Okay.
Right? And fact of the matter is, Pascal Siakam looks hungry.
Yep.
Kyle Lowry looks hungry. Fred VanVleet looks like he has something to prove. I love this group. I think that they're number one. I think that they're going to make more noise this season, especially that people think that just because they lost to Danny Green, just because they lost to Kawhi Leonard, that they aren't going to be able to do it. Listen, I love this team and I love what they're going to do. And that's my number one pick.
My number one pick, you already know, is a doggone Miami Heat. Is my got a little bit caliente out here because down in Miami, the El Heat, they're going to make sure that you see Eddie Guerrero every single night because the Latino Heat is coming out. Jimmy Buckets, Tyler Hero, you got Dunn,
Yes,
you got Winslow,
Yes,
you got Adebayo, and you go out to get a whole lot of buckets because Eric Spoelstra about to lead the Miami Heat.
Yes,
just like in 2006. It wasn't him, it was Pat Riley. But they're going to go all the way to the NBA Finals and pull off
I don't know about that.
the unprecedented.
And that concludes
The
episode
unprecedented.
14
They're going to tell everybody in the NBA, hold my nuggets, suck my dick. I'm telling you, book it right now. Miami Heat 2020 champions.
And that concludes episode 14 of the Hold My Nuggets podcast. As always, I'm your man, Marv Glover.
And the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Green Ranger, Chiseled, Adonis.
And thank you for tuning in. As always, this is the Hold My Nuggets podcast where we talk 50% sports,
50% real shit, 100% of the time.
If you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Thank you. Good night.
Miami Heat NBA champs.